matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Remember the day I set you free. I told you.
Thank you. Hello, Tucson. We love you too. Tucson. It is, thank you. It is so great to have Governor Walz here in our city just 3 days before a critical election. So folks, Gabby and I played rock, paper, scissors to see who could speak first. Guess who won? My wife, the woman who inspires me every single day to never give up, Gabby Giffords.
Hello, fellow Americans! I'm Gabby Giffords. I was born in the great state of Arizona. I was born with grit. I grew up racing motorcycles, mucking stalls, and exploring the beautiful desert. I fell for an astronaut. For 5 years, I served in Congress from a swing district. Everybody called me a rising star. Then on January 8th, 2011, a man tried to assassinate me. He shot 19 people. He killed 6. Terrible, terrible day. I almost died, but I fought for my life and I survived. Woo! I learned to walk again one step at a time. I learned to talk again one word at a time. So many people helped me as I worked hard to recover, including a decent man for Delaware who always checked in on me. He still does. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you for everything. Joe is a great president. My friend Kamala will be a great, 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 great president. She is tough. She has grit. Kamala can beat the gun lobby. She can fight gun trafficking. Kamala stood up to Wall Street and the drug companies. She will protect abortion access. She will defend our freedom. She will save lives. Join me in voting for Kamala Harris. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, everybody. So, Gabby and I don't have to tell you about the stark choice that we face in this election. Donald Trump is that... Okay, I'm going to say Donald Trump again at some other point here. I'm just preparing you. So Donald Trump, he wants a national abortion ban. Kamala Harris will restore the freedoms and protections of Roe v. Wade. Donald Trump wants another tax giveaway for billionaires and tariffs that are going to jack up costs for Arizona families by $4,000 a year. And did you hear the latest? So here's the latest thing. About a week ago, Donald Trump, and now just yesterday, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, they have said that given the chance, they are going after the CHIPS and Science Act that is bringing, get this, folks, this is bringing billions of dollars of investments and tens of thousands of jobs to our state. They're going to take that away. So that's what they're focused on. Kamala Harris is focused on lowering housing and prescription drug costs. She is focused on cutting taxes for the middle class and bringing manufacturing jobs back to our communities, not taking them away. And folks, it's because of one reason. Donald Trump has never served anybody but Donald Trump. And on the other hand, Kamala Harris has been a prosecutor, an attorney general, a U.S. senator, and a vice president, and now she is ready to be the president of the United States for all Americans. So, folks, how do we send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House and Ruben Gallego to the United States Senate? Folks, it is that, and it is other things. But I'll tell you what it isn't. It is not rocket science. If it was, I could help with that too. But now, 3 days before this election, it is all about which campaign works harder. It's that simple. Yes. What she said. First order of business, vote. And vote as soon as you can. Early votes, then we don't have to worry about them. So I want everybody here, when you get done, when we get done with this event, I want you to head to iwillvote.com to find voting locations and make your plan to vote. Next, do not leave today. Do not leave this rally without signing up for a volunteer shift. It is very important. So for those of you here in person, find a volunteer here on site and sign up. We need more volunteers, even though we have 130,000 of them in our state. Like just about everything, more is better. And for those of you at home, head to go.kamalaharris.com to get involved. I'm going to say that again. Go.kamalaharris.com. And you'll find out how you can get involved. There is nothing more important right now than doing this. This community here in Tucson, in Pima County, we have the power to decide who the next president of the United States will be. So if we work harder than those other guys, in 3 days, just 3 days, we will turn the page and move our country forward. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name. I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry. 'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no.
Please welcome first-time voter Orlando Chavez.
Dos te quieren probar. Lo que no saben es que no te dejas llevar de cualquiera. Y todos te quieren probar. Lo que no saben es que hoy yo te voy a buscar.
afternoon, everybody. How are we feeling today? Woo! My name's Rolando Chavez, and I'm honored to stand here today in support of Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. How are we feeling about them today, guys? I was born and raised right here in Tucson, Arizona. I went to Miles ELC from kindergarten to 8th grade. Then I went to Tucson High, where I graduated last year. Let's go Badgers, guys. Now I'm a proud student at the University of Arizona, working toward my criminal justice degree with hopes to be a U.S. Marshal. Arizona has always been my home, and I've never felt more inspired by the energy that's sweeping through our state. People are fired up to support Vice President Harris and Governor Walz in this election. That's why for the first time ever, I'm casting my vote for them. This is more than a campaign. It's a movement bringing people together from all different walks of life. To make our voices heard, everyone here needs to help. These last 3 days are crucial, so please knock on doors, make calls, and mobilize your neighbors because we believe in this for a better future. Vice President Harris is ready to lead. She has the experience, the strength, and the conviction to protect our freedoms and our democracy. Governor Tim Walz shares the same passion. As a teacher, coach, and a veteran, he's delivered working class families just like the ones I grew up here in Tucson. Together, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are ready to fight for what matters most, protecting our freedoms, securing our futures, and delivering results for all Americans. I'm proud to support them, and I'm asking everyone here to join me. Let's make sure Arizona is on board. Let's make history together, guys. All right, is everybody ready? And without further ado, please join me in welcoming our next Vice President of the United States of America, Governor Tim Walz.
Born in a small town, and I live in a small town. Every day in a small town, oh, small communities. All my friends, it's a small town. Wow, my parents live in the same small town.
Wow. Well, it's good to be back in Tucson. Can we just all agree that our future is bright with leadership like Orlando? Give him a big shout out. Truly grateful. Also, it's a privilege to be here with someone I went into the 2006 class of the United States Congress with Gabby Giffords. And Gabby Giffords is saving lives across this country, the work she's doing, and we owe her a deep debt of gratitude. Good to be back with Senator Mark Kelly. This guy has had one day off in the last 9 weeks. He is out there across the country doing this. Last Saturday, I had the privilege to be with him at Window Rock and an invitation to be on the Navajo Nation, and I am grateful for that. Glad to be on a ticket with Vice President Harris and myself, who understand that tribal sovereignty is the law of the land, and to honor that self-determination is a core principle. I think you saw him earlier. Another guy got to serve in Congress, but I want to be very clear. Whether it was helping get the Affordable Care Act passed through Congress or protecting our health every day, Javier Becerra is a champion of the health of this country. And I saved my final thanks. I'm a Minnesotan. It snowed this weekend, people, so you know. So I'm sitting here thinking it is Saturday afternoon on a beautiful day, and you came here because you love America. Thank you. And as Bruce Springsteen always says, it ain't no sin to be glad you're alive. I'm glad you're all here. Well done, people. Well, not that anybody's counting, folks, but we got 3 days to an election. 3 days to make an impact, not just on the next 4 years, but on the next 40 years. Not just for us, but on future generations. Not just for this country, but for the world. And here's the good news. We're winning. We're winning. Now notice I didn't say we've won, because there's work to do. It may be hard for a group of you who came here today to believe it, but there's still some folks aren't quite sure what they're going to do in this election. Now, some of them, you've talked to them, they're friends, neighbors, family members, and they tell you this. They're speaking honestly. Well, you know, I really don't like Donald Trump's personality and the stuff he does. And you're like, oh, no shit. Yeah, I understand why you wouldn't. But then they say, but I liked his economy that he had. That's the point. It's a little bit hazy. People get busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. So let's just level set what the Donald Trump economy looked like. 2.7 million jobs lost. Unemployment up. And the way he botched the COVID pandemic, tens of thousands of Americans died unnecessarily. The rest of us were out there in battles to try and find hand sanitizer and toilet paper, is how bad things got. So if you think back, that economy that they liked, if you were a billionaire or a millionaire, you might have liked it because you got a tax cut. The rest of us got squat during that time because that's how Donald Trump thinks. He doesn't spend time thinking about ways to improve your life. In fact, he doesn't spend any time thinking about you. I saw something every day with this guy, but I saw something that was very telling. You know, on your phone, you got your lock screen where your puppy's on there, or your kids, or your car for some of us, I'll admit, you know, you get that on there. Not Donald Trump. He's got a picture of himself on there. It's true. That ought to tell you where he's at. Now, look, I understand 72 hours is going to have a big impact. We've got work to do yet. This thing is not decided. It's going to be close. You know it better than anybody. This thing very well could be won in the state of Arizona. So if you're stressed and you turn it on and you're on the roller coaster, oh, we're winning, oh, we're losing, oh, we're winning, or you're getting the 15,000 emails to send money and things, do some of those. You don't have to do them all, but give on some of those. But the remedy to this is very simple. Go out and vote for Kamala Harris for president. These guys know the assignment. They know the assignment. Look, how many of you have voted? All right, it works wonders. And if you voted, you need to take somebody else. And instead of wringing your hands, ring the doorbells. Ring the doorbells to people. Pick up the phone and call some people. Look, we've got a golden opportunity here to turn the page on Donald Trump. There's lots of reasons to win this, but be honest, each of you. It's not petty. Just be honest with yourself. How damn happy will you be and how good will it feel to turn on your TV and not see this guy again? And just not see this guy again. And how great will the alternative be when we have a new generation of leadership in a President Kamala Harris? Look, it's about getting things done. Here in Arizona, created 370,000 jobs under the Biden-Harris administration. She's offering a new way forward. And you saw it, and the world saw it on Tuesday night. That is how a president talks standing in the ellipse on the National Mall. She talked about being a president for all. She talked about bringing in different voices. And she said on the first day in the White House, she will go in there with a to-do list to improve your lives, not an enemies list to go after those who disagree. And right off the top, she said it. lowering the cost of living and putting more money back into the pockets of middle-class people. That is the goal. She talked about, and some of you have heard this, enact the first federal price gouging ban. Now, the teacher in me can't pass up an opportunity to explain why that means. 37 states have this. Let me give you a couple examples. I was with a farmer the other day in Erie, Pennsylvania, grows corn, potatoes, and has some cattle. And I asked him, I said, so what are you getting for a bushel of corn these days? And he said, oh, about $4.10 a bushel. And I said, so when grocery prices were cheaper, what were you getting for a bushel of corn? About $4.10. The farmers aren't making the money in this. You're paying more. And the only thing that changed in this equation was corporate profits are at a record high. That's what price gouging looks like. Now, another example happened when we had a Hurricane Helene coming in. And they put out notice to people in the Southeast, especially in Florida, you should leave as quickly as you can. Wow, it was really weird because right after they said that, airline prices went through the roof. That's not capitalism, that's unethical. And this is what a ban on corporate price gouging stops. And let's be clear, 100 million Americans will see a tax cut under a President Harris's plan, specifically focused on a child tax credit, $6,000 to families in that child's first year of life. When we did that during the COVID pandemic, we reduced childhood poverty by half, the greatest reduction in American history. This is the surest and the best way to reduce childhood poverty and get our children off to a good start. That's what we'll do. And it was Kamala Harris that made sure our seniors, that they capped the price of a month's worth of insulin at $35. This is my third lesson on price gouging. She wants to extend that to all Americans. And the reason is we did it in Minnesota because we had a young man named Alex Smith. And Alex turned 26. He aged off his parents' insurance. He started rationing his insulin and he died. His mom, Nicole, came to the Capitol in St. Paul and said no family should ever have to go through this grief again. And she helped us pass a cap of $35 on insulin for everybody in Minnesota. Kamala wants to extend that across the country, but let me give you the last closer on that. Before we put that cap on there, pharmaceutical companies were charging up to $800 for that vial of insulin. And the real reason to boo is it costs $5 to manufacture. Look, these are things we can do to improve people's lives. Kamala put out a plan that those of you, the older folks in here, you'll get it. If you're young, trust me, you don't spend a lot of time thinking about Medicare, but when you turn 60, you start thinking about it about half the day. Medicare and Social Security are two of the best anti-poverty programs we've ever developed in this country. They're critical. And we can make them better by having Medicare pay for home health care and keep our seniors and our parents in their homes longer. The seniors will tell you this too. Medicare today doesn't pay for vision or hearing. We'll make sure under Kamala's plan that you can get your glasses and your hearing aids if you need them under Medicare. My nearly 90-year-old mom got her hearing aids a few years ago. She's a hell of a lot more fun now that she can hear us, so it's a lot better. And this idea of home ownership. Home ownership is generational wealth for us. It's the most important thing that we buy. It provides security for our families, but we know how difficult it is. Vice President Harris has proposed not only creating 3 million more new units of affordable housing, but making sure everybody has access to a $25,000 down payment assistance help. That gets you in the door. You want to start a small business? The average small business costs about $40,000 to get off the ground to have your American dream. We give a $5,000 tax credit right now for that. That's not enough. Kamala Harris is proposing a $50,000 tax credit to small business owners to get them off the ground. Now, that's a bit of our plan, and it's not a concept of a plan, it's a real plan. And when asked, How will we pay for this? For starters, we can have Donald Trump pay his federal tax for a change. This is how you enhance the middle class. This is how you grow the economy. This is how, what we say in Minnesota, the economy works best when you think about it this way. We all do better when we all do better. It's as simple as that. Now, not everybody thinks that way. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they've got a little bit different plan. And it is a little more than a concept of a plan because they took the time to put it in a 900-page book. It's called Project 2025. They are like, what is that? I've never heard of it. You know how they do that? When everybody found out how crappy it was, they're like, oh, don't know them. Don't know, never seen them. That's, whatever it was. They know exactly what they did. I coached football long enough to know you draw up a playbook, you're going to run the plays that are in it. And this playbook is a damn nightmare for the middle class. Here's just a couple things. The first thing they're going to do is repeal two of the best job creators and modernization programs we've seen in a generation. The bipartisan infrastructure law that invested in America and the Inflation Reduction Act that moves us towards a clean energy economy and innovation for the future. Those are hundreds of thousands of jobs, good paying union jobs across this country that sustain families. They want to repeal them. Now, you would have thought, and here's nearly 80 years on Earth, and being this genius, what he called himself, a stable genius, and he went to the Wharton School, which is what he tells us, you would have thought he would have learned what a damn tariff was by now. Because Donald Trump is out there saying, oh, we'll put a tariff on all this stuff, and the Chinese will pay for it. No one buys that. Because what we know and the economists know is when you put a tariff on it, and companies like Back & Decker and Columbia and others said this week, we will simply raise prices. You will end up paying 20% more or $4,000 a year. That's what it'll mean. So look, I think especially here in Arizona, you remember when the Republican Party used to talk about freedom, they meant it. This guy is not John McCain's Republican Party. He is not. He means government should have the freedom to be in your exam room, to be in your bedroom, to tell you what books to read and make those decisions. You know what it was, and we've said it. If they just mind their own damn business, we'll mind our own damn business. And that's the way this works. Kamala has been clear. When she and I talk about freedom, we mean people should be free to make these decisions, not politicians. No politicians, especially Donald Trump. Freedom means that seniors should be free. Here that they're getting it. For a moment, just think about those women in your life who you love, your mother, sister, partners, wives, neighbors, those people, daughters that we all have. Think about them. Think about them in your life. Because of what Donald Trump did, he appointed 3 Supreme Court justices who took away 52 years of protections so that those women in your life now have fewer rights than their mothers and grandmothers had. He brags about it. 20 states now have Trump abortion bans, including Arizona. He's just getting started because this week he told us he would appoint RFK Jr. to be in charge of women's health. he said, Donald said that if you're a woman, he'll be your protector. He can't even open the door of a garbage truck, let alone do this. But look, the one thing is, if this guy were a comedian or he were a stand-up comic or something, it might be marginally funny. But because he could be president of the United States again, it's deathly serious. And he added to the women after he told you to be the protector, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. Now, and here's what we're seeing. Women are turned away from emergency rooms and miscarrying in parking lots, whether they like it or not. Survivors of rape are being forced to carry those pregnancies to term, whether they like it or not. Fertility clinics have turned couples away at the door, whether they like it or not. For so many of us, me included, this is personal. Gwen and I spoke about our struggles with infertility. It was because of those fertility treatments that we were able to have our beautiful family. And I will be damned if anyone in this country should be denied the opportunity that we had. So when we win back the House of Representatives, and Arizona elects Ruben Gallego to the Senate, and we pass the restoration of reproductive freedoms, President Harris will sign it into law. Some of this stuff is pretty simple. The mind your own damn business. We all do better and we all do better. The other one is Kamala and I have a pretty simple principle here. We simply trust women. And that fixes a lot of it. Now, and I'll tell you what, I also have a feeling that all across this country, every age, every background, every political party, that those women are going to send a loud and clear message to Donald Trump on November 5th. Whether he likes it or not. We're not going back. Arizona, I'm here on behalf of Kamala Harris and myself to humbly ask you for your vote and the work over the next 72 hours to get this done. 72 hours, but here's the deal. Momentum is on our side, but we take nothing for granted. Nothing for granted. And being in this setting in a high school, I'm not going to pass this up. Here's the deal, folks. Here's the deal, folks. 2 minutes left in this game. We got the damn ball. We got the best quarterback on the field in Kamala Harris. We all know there'll be plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. Not now. Not now. We know in Arizona, a vote or two per precinct could be what it takes to win the whole damn race for the country. And all of you, the older folks will get this, younger folks, trust me, there'll come a day. Someday you're going to be sitting on that porch. You're going to be in that rocking chair. And a little one's going to come up to you after been in school where they've been studying the 2024 election. And they're going to ask, when everything was on the line and the American experiment was on the line, and there was somebody running, downballot.com/AZ to find your polling place. When can you ever imagine having 75 hours to make an impact on the planet for generations to come? To make an impact, to uphold decency and kindness and show grace to your neighbors. When can we tackle our biggest problems? Income inequality, making sure women have reproductive rights and autonomy over their own bodies, and addressing things like climate change. It's ours to do. We're going to vote. We're going to win, but I'm going to ask you this. Arizona, win this thing for America. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you all.
Folks, it is so great to be here in North Carolina. North Carolina, the eyes of the world are on you. What you do right here in North Carolina in just 3 days, my friends, not only will determine the majority in the House, but it will determine who is in the White House. And let me tell you this, folks. There are a lot of people who are trying to count you out. But I have a good friend who says when people count you out, you teach them they don't know how to count. And on Tuesday, you are going to teach a whole lot of people that they don't know how to count. You know, elections are so critical. They are so important. And this election is the most important election of my lifetime. But folks like to make elections out to be some complex things, and they're not very complex. Because this election is about hope versus fear. It's about progress versus chaos. And the contrast of the candidates and the parties could be no more stark than they are right now. On one side, you have a twice impeached, 34-count convicted felon who sexually assaults women. And this guy wants to rip away your health care. He wants to eliminate Social Security and Medicare. He wants to get rid of Head Start. And for the first time in 50 years, because of his work, putting 3 right-wing Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court, for the first time in 50 years in this country, grandmothers and great-grandmothers have had more rights than their granddaughters and their daughters. This is a guy who likes to talk about making America great again. Basically, what he means is that America's greatness is in her past. But we know better, North Carolina. America's greatness isn't in her past, but is in her future. And her future looks like all of us. Her future is one in which we all have a seat at the table. But we got a start message for Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans. We are not going back. You see, it's an interesting thing. Those of us who know our past know that we are not going to repeat it. I grew up in South Carolina, raised by my grandparents. My grandmother had an 8th grade education. She picked cotton and cleaned houses. My grandfather had a 4th grade education and he paved roads. In the South Carolina that they grew up in, they had to sit at the back of the bus. In the South Carolina that they grew up in, they had to drink out of colored water fountains. In the South Carolina that they grew up in, they could not always vote. And now I am raising my 2 sons in South Carolina, and I'm telling you, Donald Trump, I'm telling you, MAGA Republicans, we are not going back. And the reason we are not going back, North Carolina, is because on our side, we are the party of hope. On our side, we have a champion for reproductive rights. On our side, we have a fighter for the people. On our side, we have a voice for the voiceless. On our side, we have an MVP, our Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, here in North Carolina, y'all know something about championship teams. Y'all won a few championships in your past. Well, we have built a championship team. We have our MVP in Kamala Harris. We got a dang good old coach in Coach Tim Walz. But y'all know any championship team, you got an MVP, you have a coach, but you got some role players. Some people who can get the extra rebound, steal that ball every now and then, get an assist. And that's where all of us come in. We are the role players on this championship team, and we got some work to do in these last 3 days, my friends. We have Kamala Harris, who is fighting for all of us. Her policies will make America better for all of America's people. But my friends, as I told you that they are a party in the past and we are a party in the future, I'm going to give you a glimpse of the future. Imagine this, North Carolina, January 20th, 2025. It's Inauguration Day, but it is also Martin Luther King Day. And we all are in Washington, D.C. It's a cold and brisk day in Washington, D.C. You all are in your Sunday's finest, but you got on some coats and gloves. It's so cold that Bernie Sanders even has his puffy jacket on and his mittens. But we go to the U.S. Capitol, my friends, this building built by the hands of slaves. And on that dais in the U.S. Capitol, we have all of the dignitaries in the Democratic Party. We have your new governor, Josh Stein. We have our new Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries. But there are 2 people that I want to point out in North Carolina. The first is a woman, and she is cloaked in all black. She's a Delta. She's Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And Justice Jackson has in her hand the Bible of Frederick Douglass. And out comes another woman, a woman of Black and Asian descent, an HBCU grad, Howard University, an AKA. And she steps out onto that stage, and she may be wearing all white, or she might decide to wear a tan suit. But she comes and she places her hand on that Bible, she lifts the other hand, and she swears to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. My friends, at that moment, Kamala Harris becomes the 47th president of the United States, the most powerful person on the face of the planet. And she will continue that great tradition of Democratic presidents. Kennedy, Johnson, Carter, Obama, Biden, Clinton. Because she will see us, she will hear us, but most importantly, she will fight for all of us. But to make that dream a reality, my friends, we all have to do something. So the question that I have, North Carolina, are you ready to do something? Are you ready to knock on some more doors? Are you ready to make some more phone calls? Are you ready to go to the polls and vote? North Carolina, are you ready to fight for our freedoms? Because North Carolina, you know this, when we fight, let's go win this.
music's fastest rising new stars, Brittany Spencer.
If a half-empty stomach makes you imagine life for people on the street. If a neighbor's untamed yard can drive you crazy, imagine seeing bombs break through their concrete. Image is something of importance only when you've got anything to prove. Well, the world just don't seem fair when all it's left you is little or nothing to lose. Live your life and have your fun and share it with everyone you love. Raise your kids and raise your class for every single freedom that we have. And while we're looking for the next best thing to happen, heaven, pray we all find some compassion. All of those people walking signs across the pavement, crying out for justice to prevail. It's not another traffic inconvenience. One day we'll see it's history that we made, but we let empathy repair what hatred breaks. Live your life and have your fun and share it with everyone you love. Raise your kids and raise your class for every single freedom that we have. And while we're looking for the next best thing to happen, heaven, pray we all find some compassion. It's not always a big event, time and money that we spend trying to make the world a better place. It's usually just a helping hand, an open mind, the will to stay in those hard conversations with folks you thought you figured out. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Oh, live your life and have your fun and share it with everyone you love. Raise your kids and raise your glass for every single friend that we have. Feel good when you latch on to that new catchphrase. Change your style, change the channel, change your name. But while we're looking for the next best thing to happen, heaven, pray we all find some compassion. Heaven, pray we all find some compassion. Hello, North Carolina. I am so proud to be here today to support Vice President Kamala Harris. To everyone here with us today, and to everyone watching at home, please know that your vote is your choice. It's your voice. And this week, we have the chance to make our voices heard.
Early voting is underway here in Charlotte, I believe till 3 p.m. So bring your IDs, and if you don't have an ID, you can sign an ID exemption form and still vote. I know what it's like to feel like you're up against something really strong, really heavy, but I want to let you know that hope is around even when you think it's lost. I want you to know that your vote is your voice, and don't let nobody tell you that your voice doesn't matter. So get out there and vote, y'all. Sometimes you wanna go where the people know your name. And if you wanna be alone where they don't, that's okay. It doesn't matter who you are, 'cause we all got a little pain. You ain't gotta look far to see we all want the same thing. So if you at the bottom with me, raise a drink. Whole town jumping and 6 string drumming, it's a party. Everybody say hey, hey, hey. She's a guitar lady, driving them crazy from the back of the Ford to the hood of the Mercedes. Guitar lady, make them wanna sing along. She's a guitar lady, body go crazy. She'll curve you like the wheels on a 4-door Chevy. Guitar lady, make her wanna sing along. Yeah. Sometimes you wanna cry with the thunder and rain, rain. Till you let the light in, let the sun dry them away. Hey, hey. So if you at the polls with me, raise a drink. Whole town jumping and 6 string drumming, it's a party. Everybody say hey, hey. If you at the polls with me, raise a drink. I'ma keep strumming till the world feels something. It's a party. Everybody say hey. She's a guitar lady, driving them crazy from the back of the Ford to the hood of the Mercedes. Guitar lady, make her wanna sing along. Guitar lady, body go crazy. She'll curve you like the wheels on a 4-door Chevy. Guitar lady, make her wanna sing along. Yeah. She got a light out, dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum, dum 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 dum. She'll always put your feelings first. Yeah, she'll get you through the door. Just like to kiss you where it hurts. She don't need the words. 'Cause she's a guitar lady, driving them crazy from the back of the Ford to the hood of the Mercedes. Guitar lady, make her wanna sing along. She got a light out, dum 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 dum. She got a light out, dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum, dum dum dum. Thank y'all so much.
States Representative Jeff Jackson.
How do we feel? Outstanding. I'm Jeff Jackson. I'm running to serve as your next Attorney General, and in 4 days, we're going to win this thing. I am joined on stage by some fantastic candidates. Your next Commissioner of Agriculture, Sarah Tabor. Your next Commissioner of Insurance, Natasha Marcus. Your next Commissioner of Labor, Braxton Winston. They love you, Braxton. Your current and future Secretary of State, Elaine Marshall. And your next State Treasurer, Wesley Harris. We had a few Council of State folks who are running but couldn't join us. Your next Lieutenant Governor, Rachel Hunt. I was told her father dabbled in politics. What was his name? Jim? Was it Jim Hunt? I'm gonna look that up. Your current and future state auditor, Jessica Holmes. And y'all, this next one is really important. Yeah. Your next superintendent of public instruction, Mo Green. We hear you. All of us are in close races, but what gives us confidence is you. We all believe that the reason you're here is because you are ready for a new generation of leadership, not going back to the chaos, the division, the anger that we all lived through. The truth is, we have a much better option. Vice President Harris is focused on you, your concerns, your future, your children's future. And in the one and only debate her opponent would attend, she showed why it's going to be so powerful to have a former prosecutor as our next president. She brought the evidence for why this is such a clear choice. And on the other hand, we've got a presidential candidate who just seems to enjoy making people angry. He's not about public service, he's about personal anger, and we have to move past that kind of politics, and the vast majority of the country wants to move past that. The folks who are on this stage with me are running as people who believe that the job isn't to make you angry, but to make you proud. Together with you, we need to do something very important. We need to make sure that folks know how important every single race on the ballot is and how to cast their ballot and make sure it counts so that when we wake up Wednesday, we can be proud to have elected a president and Council of State who is fighting for you. You've heard a lot about down-ballot races. We are the down-ballot races. If you're here, you're already going to vote the whole ballot. You need to make sure your friends and family vote the whole ballot. That's how we win these races. Don't let friends skip Natasha Marcus on that ballot. Don't let them skip Braxton on that ballot, or skip Wesley, or skip Sarah, or skip. Don't you let your friends skip Mo Green on that ballot. Friends don't let friends skip Mo. North Carolina will be the state that delivers victory for the vice president, and you will never regret the time and energy you put into helping us win these races. Because after we win, we're going to turn the page from one of the darkest chapters of American politics that any of us has lived through recently, and then we're going to go about serving people the way we all campaign, with civility, with integrity, with honesty, with decency, with joy. On behalf of all of us, thank you for being a part of this pivotal moment in the history of our state and our country, and we will see you at the polls. Thank you.
Oh my God, every time I come out here and I see all of you here, there, everywhere, I am so grateful that you are making the decision that you are making right now to vote, to vote, to vote. So I am Vi Lowes. Thank you. And it is my pleasure to serve as mayor of the Queen City. You know, Charlotte, you know Charlotte, all of you know Charlotte. But I want to talk a little bit about why it is important that you think about this right now. You know, we have a choice here. Vice President Harris is fighting for a future where every American has the opportunity, not just to get by, but to thrive, to get ahead. Now, we all know what the other side is doing, stomping on our rights, making sure that we all are going to be kept in some little box for them to play with, or so that their friends also can play with him. When Vice President Harris is in the White House, she will deliver for working families. So let me just tell you a story about this for me. I grew up with a dad who went to the war. He actually built roads, and he also built graves for people that were in the war to be buried. And he came back. And if you'll remember, that was when Black men did not have the opportunity to get a house or to go to college, but my dad came back with a skill. And he made it impossible for us to ignore that things could be better and different. That is what Kamala Harris embodies, that things will be better and different for working families, cutting taxes for the middle class, lowering these grocery prices, and capping the price of insulin and other drugs that are necessary for us to be successfully healthy and to have our families with us. That is what they do. Now, I also have 4 little grandgirls, and I think about what my son and his wife have to pay for childcare and what that means. Now, one of the things that Kamala Harris understands that we need to look at the cost of childcare and do something about it so people will have choices about working and having their children. Charlotte's one of the fastest growing cities in the country. And with her leadership, we'll be able to continue to look for good paying jobs that will with cutting edge industries where we can do things to make us more sustainable. But more importantly, that everyone has an opportunity to have a job, to do something that they can do and use to support their families and to have just a piece of what America is. But now, we have to think about this. I want you to think about it because, we can all talk and think about this at the same time. What do you think a second term of Donald Trump would be? Now, I have to say, when I came out here and I was able to move around, thank God I didn't look like Elon Musk. Trump brings out billionaires. We bring out the working people in this community. I'm no different than any one of you. And just think about it. Look at your neighbor. Think about it. We're all in the same place where we want to be our very best, and we can be our very best. But that means we have to support Kamala Harris and Governor Walz. Thank you. Because you think about what Donald Trump would do. He's talking about raising the cost for North Carolina families by $4,000 a year by rearranging the federal government and giving people that have more power, and more power. No, they need to put that power in our pockets. That's where they need to go. And for women in this community, all across the community, we need to have the ability to understand that we have choices that we can make for our own bodies and our own health. What Donald Trump thinks is that he can take care of all us women because we just don't know what to do, how to make a decision. But let him know that banning abortions nationwide is the wrong way to go, and we will not stand for that. I know a lot of you are already standing up. I know a lot of you have already early voted. But this is the time that you have to find out whether or not your neighbor, your family, all of us have voted to be able to have and deliver what we need to do on election day. This is the vote for the future. Not just the people that are old like me, but the people like you that are out here that will have the opportunity to live through the next 4 years. And we should live with someone that we trust and someone that trusts us. So let's talk to our friends, our families, our neighbors, and make sure that each and every one of us has a plan to vote. If you have any questions, and this is an important thing now, because you know, at the end of this, people are probably going to have like, well, you know, I don't really believe in voting because it doesn't matter. But if you feel like that, you should go to iwillvote.com and make a plan to vote. And if you have any problems, or questions about this, you should call 1-833-VOTE4-NC and get those questions answered. And if you feel like you need to do something with your neighbors or whatever, let's just get it done, because together we can seize this moment and we can shape the future for North Carolina. We can reject the dangerous agenda once and for all and get a brighter future and turn that page for a brighter future. Vice President Harris and Governor Walz, to the White House, to the White House. Thank you all very much.
Wow. Hey, Charlotte. Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? Well, I've been fired up for weeks. I'm Congresswoman Alma Adams, your Congresswoman. I am so very proud to represent North Carolina's 12th Congressional District and Charlotte, North Carolina. 3 days. Hey, 3 days, 3 days, and counting, Charlotte, 72 hours. That's all we've got left. Charlotte, are you ready to elect Vice President Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States of America? Listen, I know you already know by now, but let me just tell you again. Our community and our nation needs leaders like Vice President Kamala Harris. She's going to lift up the middle class. She's going to fight for reproductive freedom. She's going to protect our democracy. Donald Trump is simply unfit to be commander-in-chief. And so, listen, you don't have to take that from me. We've heard it from many of the people who served with him, very closely with him in the White House. And they've issued a warning. And that warning is Trump is unstable and dangerous. But better yet, Better yet, we don't even have to listen to those folks because he's shown us who he is. And Maya Angelou reminded us, when folk show you who they are, believe them. And I believe him. You know, at events like this, I often think about my late friend and colleague, the late John Lewis, you know, the good trouble man. He spoke so passionately and persuasively about voting. And he'd often tell us, the vote is the most powerful nonviolent tool that we have. And our vote, John said, is precious, almost sacred. So Charlotte, our vote is the embodiment of the American spirit. It's how we express ourselves in a democracy. It's how we show support for what matters to us and what matters to our communities. When you vote, you make the choice. But when you don't vote, somebody makes the choice for you. But when we vote, we win. When we vote, we win. Listen, for somebody like me, the vote is the best tool that I use, that I can say unequivocally that I matter. And because we all matter, we must dump that Trump. You know, because if you don't know Trump's extreme Project 2025 agenda, it shows me that he doesn't give a damn about us. We don't matter to him. It would raise costs for North Carolina's middle-class families. It would drive jobs overseas. And according to leading economists across the aisle, it would trigger a recession in the next 2 years. And listen, if that guy is commander-in-chief, he would ban abortion nationwide. He would threaten access to reproductive health care, including birth control and IVF. And as the co-chair of the Black Maternal Health Caucus in Congress, I can tell you that the science says that states with abortion bans have worse maternal health outcomes than other states. Already, Black mamas in America are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth than white women. Imagine making that worse. And like I said, it's a life and death election. Our lives are on this ballot. And this is going to exacerbate the existing health inequities that Black mothers face, and it will make the delivery room even more dangerous than it is right now. It will take steps to criminalize patients and providers, as Trump and his allies want to do, and it will only exacerbate these already negative outcomes. And so, Charlotte, the choice is obvious. Vice President Harris is going to be a leader for all Americans. And for all Americans, listen, unlike Trump, he's got a hit list. Kamala has a to-do list of priorities to actually help the American people. And her agenda will build millions of new homes and help spur the creation of small businesses. Her agenda will invest in the middle class and protect our fundamental freedoms. Charlotte, 3 days. North Carolina, 3 days. Time is winding up. Early vote ended about an hour ago. But you know, there's still work to do. Our work doesn't stop here because we've got 3 more days. We have a few more days to talk to our friends and our neighbors and to knock on doors and to make phone calls to get people to show up on Tuesday. Tuesday is election day. And folks, get your family out. Get your friends out. Get folk out that you don't like. Get your neighbors out. Lottie-dottie, everybody, mom and them. Everybody must vote. Only 3 days to do this. Your voice is your power. And your power, it's your vote. And this election is all about freedom and all about power. And you know, power is what makes the difference in lives and communities. But the first thing you have to understand about power and how to get it, you don't ask somebody how to get it or where it is or can you have it. You take it. And once you've taken it, you use it. Charlotte, 3 days, we can protect our democracy. We can use our power, and together we can send Vice President Harris and Governor Walz to the White House. Because when we vote, so listen, let's go ahead and do this thing. Let's go ahead and do this thing. And let's get out here and turn this mother out.